Hey guys, it's Michelle Lundy from Making It as a Middle School Teacher, and I'm here for today's Tech Tip Tuesday. And today I want to share a website with you that's a little different than maybe some of the others that you've seen tutorials on. And I want to say also that I do have a couple of requests that people have asked about for some little tutorials to be made. And I do have those on my list, so I will be working on those. So if you've asked about one, I'm working on those. Just give me some time to get them all done, and I'll have those posted hopefully in the next week or two. Okay, so the website that I want to show you is learner.org. And you could really get onto this website and probably spend days and days and days. It is packed with tons of information. And what makes it a little different, you can see right here, it's a teacher professional development and classroom resources. And it's across all curriculum. So you'll see down here there's a list of everything that you could teach basically. But it's a website that's really set up for teachers. Maybe, for instance, you feel a little weak in an area that you need to teach. This website gives you some questions and pictures and diagrams and videos to give you some more in-depth background knowledge so that you feel better prepared then to go and teach it to your students, and you're better prepared to answer their questions as well. So it's a great resource for teachers, but there are some things that you can use with your students as well. So the one we're going to look at today is in math, and I'm going to look at grades 6 through 8 right here. And there's many different ways to navigate around this website, but this is just the way that I'm going to get to where we're going today. And you see up here, there's all kind of different things that you can see. Now, I happen to know that I want us to look at cross sections today, because cross sections are part of the Common Core standards for 7th grade. There's a little bit in this that you could use for 6th and 8th as well. Definitely a good review or remediation for 8th or even 9th graders as they're continuing on with their geometry. So we're going to look at this session 9, and I want to kind of go back to the first of it here. So this is how the different lessons are set up. You've got objectives and terms, and there'll be little videos over here on the side that you can watch to give you some more information. And then you'll see that here's a little section on solids. There's some problems, and then for the solution, it goes through and walks you through very detailed information. Like I said, it's really going deeper than what your students would need to, unless you have some very advanced students. Then they may be ready for some of this type of information. But there's all these different problems in section A. And then for section B, you have nets, and that is a 6th grade standard for Common Core. And also you could get into it a little bit with surface area in 7th grade. But this is what I want to focus on today, because this is something that you could use with your students in the classroom. In fact, I've used it several years with my students with cross sections. Some students have a very difficult time seeing those cross sections in their head. If they are not a very good visual spatial learner, this is something that causes them a lot of trouble. They cannot picture what it's going to look like when you slice through a particular shape in a certain way. They can't picture what the inside of that cut is going to look like. So there's this little virtual type activity here, and you'll see it's got some shapes that it wants you to try to get. It wants you to try to find those 2D shapes out of this 3-dimensional cube. And if you need instructions, there are some there. Once you hit start, if you want to open up the instructions, you can, but it's really pretty simple. So you can click here and rotate, and the kids like it because this little knife comes up, this sword, and it shows the sword cutting through. So let's say, for instance, I want to try to get the square. Choice A. So I'm going to rotate and rotate. Let's say I think this is it. So I'm going to hit cut, and you see I didn't get a square, I got a triangle. Okay, so I'm going to go back. That didn't work for me. Start again and rotate around. Okay, now notice this cut button. Once you have moved around and rotated, you can actually see that it gives you the line where the knife is going to cut. So it helps them kind of as an in-between step of having the solid and then having the 2D shape. Kind of gives them an in-between visualization of that. So I'm going to rotate and think, okay, well maybe that'll give me the square. So when I cut it, I see, yes, that's my square. Okay, and you could just keep going and going, and you can really, you get some pretty interesting there. Would get you a parallelogram. Some of them, you actually, it's going to show you a hexagon here in a little bit. Let's see, 1, 2, that's a pentagon there. Okay, so very interesting, especially if you have a smart board or an active board that you can put this up on. It's pretty large for the whole class to kind of look at and see. Okay, and I will show you over here on the homework, because teachers, you know, have homework too sometimes. This PDF is a wonderful, wonderful resource. I actually had to read this in one of my master's classes, and it's a very kind of well-known geometry article, and it goes through the Van Healy levels and really gives you some good information about teaching geometry. It's quite lengthy, but it's worth the read. So if you're a teacher that needs to be teaching some geometry and maybe you want to brush up a little bit, this is a great website to try out. And like I said, you could really spend a ton of time there and find out just oodles and oodles of information that you would need to know. Okay? All right. Thanks for stopping by today, guys, and I'll talk to you next week for another Tech Tip Tuesday. Thanks. Bye.